A very good afternoon and welcome to Premier League Live with me, Caoimhan Ferris. Thank you very much for joining us on our Sunday doubleheader this afternoon as we start with the champions back in action after the international break and some big news to talk about regarding Liverpool. We'll talk about that in a moment. They take on a Burnley side who were newly promoted this season and lost so harshly last time out at Old Trafford with that late Bruno Fernandes penalty denying Burnley a point away at Manchester United. Already it's been an intriguing weekend. Not too many goals in number of games, but certainly some interesting results. Arsenal 3-0 winners against Nottingham Forest yesterday lunchtime. You watched that live here with us. We will recap all of the remaining games from yesterday as well at half-time in this one. Bournemouth 2-1 winners against Brighton. A 0-0 draw between Crystal Palace and Sunderland. Good point for Sunderland on the road. Villa still without a goal this Premier League season after 4 matches. They failed to register anything out of the game against Everton, but a point apiece there. Fulham needed a late winner. They love a late winner to Fulham, and they beat Leeds by a goal to nil. Newcastle 1-0 winners against Wolves. We'll tell you who scored that a little later on. It was 3 points for Spurs, back to winning ways for Tottenham Hotspur after that defeat on match day 3, and they moved themselves up the table. West Ham not in a good position after that 3-0 win for them before the international break. They return with a 3-0 defeat and a 2-2 draw between Brentford and Chelsea. We'll talk all about yesterday's results a little later on, but it is to our Sunday action here at Turf Moor at 2 o'clock, and then we head to the Etihad Stadium for our game of the week. It is a big game. It's the 197th Manchester Derby, and we will be live at 4:30 for kick-off between Manchester City and Manchester United. Two teams who've not started the season as they would have hoped, and we'll talk more about that a little later on. But first this afternoon, it is the champions in action, of course. As we know, Liverpool 3 wins out of 3, the only team to have a 100% record going into the international break. And they will go back top of the Premier League table if they get at least a draw away at Burnley here today. They'll be winning all 3 points. Well, the champions, they've won 6 of the last 8 meetings away to Burnley. And they will be hoping that that record continues here this afternoon. A Burnley side, as I said, have won one of their 3 opening games. That was against newly promoted side Sunderland on match day 2. So a very intriguing affair between these two sides who haven't met since, of course, the last time Burnley were in the Premier League. Very good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in, Andy and Joseph. Thank you very much, our regulars. Thank you for joining us. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Andy says, I didn't captain Salah, I captained Haaland. Well, let's see what way that turns out. I captained Salah this week, by the way. Joseph says, good afternoon, all. Half my profit from Arsenal going on to Liverpool win. Well, Arsenal was a big win yesterday. How will Liverpool react this afternoon? And Andy, that is the big news. We'll get to that in a moment. Coming out of this game. Actually, we'll do it now. Here are the teams for this one. Starting with the home side in Burnley. They start with Martin Dubravka in goal. Kyle Walker, used to playing against Liverpool in the Sky Blue of Manchester City, but he's in the claret of Burnley this afternoon. Ekbal, Esteve and Hartman are the back 4. Cullen, Ugochukwu and Laurent in midfield. New signing, I forget how to say his name, Chona starts at right wing. Jadon Anthony off the left, and Lyle Foster leading the Burnley line. On the bench for the Clarets this afternoon, Weiss, Worrell, Humphreys, Perez, Edwards, Mabry, Fleming and Broja. A new signing, Florentino Luis, who signed on deadline day. He's on the bench. For Liverpool, it is a familiar-looking side for the champions. Alisson continues in goal. Dominic Szoboszlai, despite there being right-back options fit for Liverpool, Dominic Szoboszlai continues at right-back this afternoon. Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk are the centre-back partnership, with Milos Kerkez at left-back. In midfield is Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister and Florian Wirtz in the 10. Cody Gakpo off the left, Salah off the right and Ugo Ekitike starts up front for the champions. On the bench this afternoon for Liverpool, Mamardashvili, Gomez, Robertson, Bradley, Endo, Frimpong, Nyoni, Chiesa and Rio Ngomoa. And interestingly, Jeremy Frimpong returns from injury, by the way, into that lineup. So there's technically 3 right-backs on the Liverpool bench, but Dominic Szoboszlai gets that choice ahead of his teammates. One interesting bit of news, who's not here this afternoon. There's a deadline day signing on the Burnley bench. There's not one on the Liverpool bench this afternoon. Alexander Isak not involved for Liverpool today after his £125 million move to the champions on deadline day. But he is not involved, and Arne Slot said he didn't want to rush him into the side, and he even mentioned Johan Visse in his pre-match interview about why he hasn't included him. Johan Visse out injured now for a few weeks, and that's why he said if they're not training, there's no need to rush them. We will see what impact that could have on Liverpool, but they do have options off the bench. Chiesa and Rio Gamoa have both come off the bench and scored winners for Liverpool this season already. It is the champions in action against a newly promoted side in Burnley. It's another new opponent for Arne Slot. There's a lot of new things, and we have kick-off at Turf Moor next. A very good afternoon. Welcome to Premier League Live this Sunday afternoon. Great to have you all with us for this one. We do apologise for our lack of content yesterday evening. I wasn't feeling too well, so we're all right. We're grand. We're ready to move on, but I do apologise about that. But if you haven't done so already, do like, subscribe and turn on post notifications. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you all for joining us here this Sunday afternoon, spending your Sunday afternoon with us here at LFS. It's great to have your company as always. And it'll be interesting to see what the champions do this afternoon. As I said, the only side to head into the international break having won all of their Premier League games, and they want to continue in that vein here this afternoon. This is a stadium that they have never drawn a game in the Premier League era. So either the home side have won or the visitors have won in these fixtures. It's the away side more often than not that have won it. At Liverpool putting on their new third kit for this one, a tenor tealish green for this one. Of course, Burnley in their claret and blue. Usual strip. Liverpool in that third strip this afternoon. As we get underway then at Turf Moor. And the champions, another big trip for them. Their second away game of the season. Their first was a very aggressive trip to Newcastle United. They'll be hoping for a little bit less aggressive here this afternoon at Turf Moor. And a Burnley side who have shown positives this season. Of course, almost got a draw away at Old Trafford on that opening day defeat to Tottenham, although they were quite close in that game for a good majority of it. And then obviously that 2-0 win here against Sunderland. This is a stadium they haven't lost in, Burnley, since May of 2024 when they were last in the Premier League. So it has not been one of those where they have lost very often inside this ground. And Scott Parker, as Burnley manager, has never lost inside this stadium. So there is the statistic for you. Here's Virgil van Dijk. Milos Kerkez to Cody Gakpo. Back to the captain, Virgil van Dijk. Gravenberch to Ibrahima Konate. Through the lines to Ekitike. Comes a bit deeper. Lays it off to Gravenberch. And now Kerkez. Out wide to Gakpo. Nice little 1-2 there with Weerts. Or McAllister, sorry. And it's just overhit there from Alexis McAllister. And goes out for a Burnley throw. And he says Burnley at home are not a bad side. All promoted teams hold their own at the moment. They do, certainly at home. The newly promoted sides have performed well in the first few weeks of the season. Burnley, one win from their obviously only home game of the season up to this point. Sunderland have won both of their home games this season, and Leeds 1 win and 1 draw from theirs. So all of the promoted sides unbeaten at home so far this campaign, which is boding well for them and their campaigns respectively. Happy birthday for you, Gary. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Thank you all for being with us, and wish a happy birthday to Gary. Great that you're spending your birthday weekend with us. Thank you very much indeed. Van Dijk to Konate. Out to Salah. And as Dominic Szoboszlai starts at right back, but he's drifted into midfield, which you would probably expect to see. Kirkes. Van Dijk. Well, we expect Liverpool to dominate possession. We expect them to dominate the play, but for Burnley it's all about how rigid, how stubborn, how structured is their defence. How well can they defend what has been a free score in Liverpool's side so far this season? Up until that Arsenal game. Scored 8 goals in their first 3 league games this season. Liverpool 4 against Bournemouth, 3 away at Newcastle, and then that one against Arsenal. Wirtz tried to reverse the ball through to Szoboszlai, and a little bit caught out there as Anthony tries to break away for Burnley, and that through ball is right down the throat of Alisson, who doesn't even need to gather it as Liverpool retrieve. But Wirtz tried the quick through ball there to Szoboszlai. Didn't quite work off, but it was the right idea. They were working it between the lines there, Liverpool. Gravenberch. Switch ball out to the left-hand side, finds Gakpo. Chops onto his right foot. Cody Gakpo lifting it into the box. At the back post was Salah, but headed away by the Burnley left-back Hartman. Konate applying the pressure. Liverpool putting the squeeze on Burnley here. Gravenberch spreads it out wide to Salah. Salah finds it into Wirtz. Tight space for Florian Wirtz. Cuts it back to Konate. He's come very high. Now Kirkes to Gakpo. Edge of the box is Gakpo. He's going to have a go. And he's going to send it flying into the stands behind the goal. But how tight were Liverpool squeezing there? I mean, Ibrahim Konate was almost on the edge of the D there. It was that high up. Really pressuring Burnley and squeezing them into their own 18-yard box. Allowing Cody Gakpo to find a bit of space on the edge and have a go with his right foot. That time didn't kind of gather it anywhere near well enough. Cody Gakpo on that occasion. Flick on header there in behind the Liverpool defence, but Szoboszlai was well aware. Gives it back to his keeper and Alisson, and now Virgil van Dijk. McAllister switches the ball out to the left for Kirkes. Liverpool with 92% of the possession in the first 5 minutes. Nothing too unpredictable in that sense. Burnley out of possession of 5-4-1. Very narrow midfield. Really congesting that midfield area. Here's Maxime Esteve. He's going to send it high up the field. Konate winning his header. And the bouncing ball into the mix. Nicely taken down by Ekitike. Got his first international call up for France in the international break. Excuse me. Did Ugo Ekitike. Some of the Liverpool players had a great international break. Florian Wirtz scored a wonderful free kick for Germany against Northern Ireland. Following in the footsteps of Dominic Szoboszlai, he scored a wonderful free kick for Liverpool against Arsenal just before the international break. Andy says, I can see an open 0-0. Then at the 70-minute mark, Liverpool get too much for them. 2-0, 3-0 to Liverpool. Maybe Burnley get one. I can't see more than 4 goals in this game, but see lots. But lots see probably a 0-0. I don't see it being a 0-0, but I can see where you're coming from in the fact that I see Burnley trying to squeeze Liverpool and stop them for such a long period of time that it gets to the point where they might see them out. But here come Burnley with a little bit of loose ball from Liverpool in the midfield there. And it's played across to the edge of the box. Nice first touch, and the shot is sent over the bar from Jadon Anthony. That was the first real glimpse of a Burnley attack, and it was good play down that right-hand side. It was the new signing, Chona. Yeah, it's a little bit loose from Liverpool there. Van Dijk with a poor ball into the midfield. Just played it first time to McAllister. Lofted it in there. Allowed Burnley to win it back. And Chona, on his debut, breaking down that right-hand side. Squared it right across the 18 or the edge of the 18-yard box. And it's Jadon Anthony coming off the left-hand side. Gets open, has a shot after his first touch. He set it up, and he just couldn't keep the shot down. Maybe a glimpse of what Burnley can offer against this Liverpool side. Those quick breaks as Kirkes' delivery into the box was a nice idea. It was sent flying by Maxime Esteve behind for a corner. Momodou says, Salam everyone, hope you're all reading this in peace. 2-0 Liverpool, Gakpo, Endo, lol. Thank you very much for joining us as well. Thank you very much indeed. I'll get to a couple of the other chats in a moment. There's the corner here on this left-hand side. Wirtz to deliver for Liverpool. Right-footed, he's kept a lot in it. Up, and Konate won the header, and the flick on from the shot when Kirkes was sent over the bar. See it again, it's a good delivery by Wirtz. He hangs it in the air for quite a while, and it's Konate that battles up for the ball with a Esteve, and as it bounces down, it kind of collides with a few players, and Kirkes the first to react to have a go at it with his right foot, but he just fires it over the bar from such a difficult angle for Milos Kirkes there. As Dubravka sends it long. Nice touch by Salah, but given away a little cheaply there down the right-hand side of Liverpool. But Szoboszlai there to mop it up against Jadon Anthony and clear it down that right channel, with Salah holding up the ball again, and Liverpool getting the throw-in down the right-hand side. Yeah, being tested early doors there, Dominik Szoboszlai, but standing firm as he has done in that right-back position, and quite a revelation for Liverpool at right-back. That's a lovely touch around the corner there from Gravenberg. Makes a good run. Now Kirkes out to Gakpo on the left. Nice first inside touch. Whips it into the box. Ekitike was slightly in a muscle there as Salah tries to chase for the ball. But Burnley comfortable at clearing it away. And Anthony sends it down the left channel. But it's going to be a shove on Konate by Lyle Foster that's going to get Liverpool a free kick. Our referee this afternoon, by the way, Michael Oliver. VAR, Paul Tierney. See this again from Gakpo shifting it into the box, and Esteve doesn't really do much wrong. Ekitike does go over, but I don't think there's much in it, if I'm honest. Kind of shoulder barges him, but strong defending in my opinion. Konate. Right to Salah. Inside to Wirtz. Nice little 1-2. Salah across the box. Half cleared as Cullen sends it flying away. A little bit better from Salah and Wirtz there. Nice little 1-2 combination down that right side. Starting to get into the rhythm a little bit more, Liverpool, with their passing. Get a couple of chats. Here's Szoboszlai with a cross into the box, and that was guided behind by Kyle Walker at the back post. Didn't know what was behind him, and he didn't want to risk anything. That'll be a Liverpool corner in this left-hand side. Mark Murray says Liverpool half-time, full-time is the best bet today. Even money. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. As we get a shot of Florian Wirtz. He's not taking the corner this time. He took the last one. It's Gakpo that's going to take it off this left side. Another right-footed in, swinging delivery. It's on the goalkeeper, and Konate there got his header, but he couldn't head it into the nets. He headed it wayward. See this again, it's almost unmissable from that position. He gets far too much on it, Konate. He gets up there, he's a really good position, but he gets too much on it, and he can't keep it down. If he literally trickles that ball, it's going over the line and in, but he puts too much power on it, and it bounces off his head and up and over the crossbar. Nice idea from Liverpool there, but Konate couldn't keep his header down. Van Dijk wins his header, but his header goes out of play down the right-hand side for a Burnley throw. Hartman down the left-hand side with the throw-in. Konate with a header. Bouncing ball down that side as Wirtz tries to intercept. He does get it away and back to Esteve. And Laurent dropping a little deeper there. He gives it back to Dubravka. He tried to square it out to the the left-hand side there, Martin Dubravka, but to no joy. Well, Burnley have lost 14 of their 18 Premier League matches against Liverpool, 1-2 drawn 2, including each of the last 5 in a row they've lost since a 1-0 win at Anfield in January of 2021. And that was a torrid run for Liverpool in that time and period. They lost 6 home games in a row. Did Liverpool during that spell of time. Burnley, one of the beneficiaries to that poor run for Liverpool at that time. Van Dijk. Ekitike. Back to Virgil van Dijk. Gravenberch. Liverpool almost exclusively in the Burnley half so far in the first 13 minutes. As Gakpo and Kirkez link up down the left channel. Kirkez tries the cross, blocked at the near side by Jonah. That's gone out for a corner, I believe. What we expect, of course, Liverpool with a lot of new players in this starting 11 from this season, and what we expect is to see as the weeks go on, they become more comfortable with each other, they figure out each other's game, they figure out how to find each other in key moments and tight spaces, their link-up play becomes better, and we just start to see incremental improvements week in, week out. And we've already seen some little glimpses as Gakpo with another corner, headed on, up in the air, it's away, flick back in by McAllister, Dubravka with a punch to clear it. Vate's trying to cross, blocked, and he gets another chance at it, but he catches it high there and sends it flying. Dubravka had to be called into action there. See this delivery, up and away, and then it falls to McAllister, who whips it back in, whether there was an offside anyway in there on Salah, but he punches it away, does Dubravka, and then Vate's in the follow-up tries to get involved and just catches the ball in the air on that occasion. But Liverpool looking a little bit of a threat from those corners. A couple of times they've been able to pressure Burnley from those areas, and with the height in the Liverpool team, should be an area they focus on in trying to test Burnley from the set pieces. With your Van Dijk, Konate, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, Ekitike, all with a lot of height on their side. As Szoboszlai there went in for a challenge and Konate mops up and Alisson sends long. Ekitike muscled again, but McAllister battling a late challenge on him, and that's going to be a free kick, and it's going to be a yellow card by Ugochukwu. It didn't look particularly nice from Leslie Ugochukwu, and we got to say it's McAllister in real pain. Virgil van Dijk was incessant that there was more to be had there, and the Burnley captain Josh Cullen also called across to have a chat with the referee Michael Oliver, who has just given a yellow card. But of course Paul Tierney will have a check to see if there is a need for any more action. And Alexis McAllister will receive treatment for the moment. Let's see a replay. So the ball falls, it's a loose ball, and Ugochukwu, he does win the ball, to be fair to him, but I've got to see a replay, a tighter replay. It's not really got the angle of it. It happens so fast. Yeah, his legs late. I think it's just a follow through. I think a yellow card is fair there. I think it would be harsh if it was any more. And Leslie Ugochukwu gets a yellow card for that challenge. I think that's fair. He wins the ball. It's just a follow through challenge. He's not out of control. He's not reckless. He's just full stretch, sliding in, winning the ball, and it's a fair challenge in my opinion. But it is a yellow card for the follow through. You still can get a booking for that type of challenge, and it is a free kick, but it's definitely not a red in my opinion. Arne Slot making the claim to the fourth official, who I believe is Chris Kavanagh. It is. Chris Kavanagh was the referee for the Liverpool game against Arsenal on match day 3. So I'm sure he's fairly used to hearing a bit of an earful from Arne Slot already. And Alexis McAllister is slowly but surely getting back to play, hopefully, for his sake and Liverpool's sake. And of course we never want to see a player get injured, but we'll see what comes of this. He's still receiving treatment at the moment, and he is helped back to his feet by the Liverpool coaching staff, or by the physios, apologies. Alexis McAllister always seems to get himself in a battle. Always seems to be in a battle. Limping a little bit. is Alexis McAllister, and Connor Bradley is warming up. He's not coming on, but he's warming up. And McAllister, I think, might just try and walk this off. He's actually not going off, which the crowd are not happy with, and I don't know why he's not going off or why he's not being directed to go off by the referee, Michael Oliver. Usually that's the rule, but very strange that. Liverpool back on the way. They took that free kick short. And McAllister's now undoubtedly going to get a boo every time he gets on the ball now. As Kyle Walker there battles. Just leaves the ball. Goes behind for a goal kick. But the rule is that if you receive treatment, you have to go off for 30 seconds. I don't like the rule, but that's the rule. And McAllister's running it off here while the ball isn't in play. So, I mean, Liverpool won't complain, but that is the rule. Flick on there from Lyle Foster. Well battled by Van Dijk, and Weerts there tussling, losing the ball. Cullen flicks it over the top. A run on for Jadon Anthony. It's come a bit scrappy this game in the last few minutes. And Konate there battling and winning the ball. And the ball goes out for a throw-in down that left-hand side for Burnley. Well, the crowd are not happy. I'll not repeat what they're shouting, but begins with W, ends with R. And there's a K in the middle. Jadon Anthony, lovely first touch there, down the left side. He's trying to spin it in, but completely mishits it. And he knows himself right away that was a mistake. Goes for a goal kick to Liverpool. .19.5 minutes gone. Burnley 0, Liverpool 0. It's not been much goal-mouth action. Liverpool have come the closest, but neither side have had a shot on target so far. And Liverpool have been dominant in their possession. Burnley just trying to stifle them and hold them out. Just to emphasise that, Liverpool have had 79% possession so far. But there's not much room to manoeuvre in behind the Burnley defence, although Van Dijk tried to find Ekitike off the back of the defence there. The bounce of the ball just gets away from Ugo Ekitike. Long kick by Dubravka, and Van Dijk heads it back to Alisson. Under no real pressure there. And if Burnley get to half-time at 0-0, they will be happy with this at the minute, the way Liverpool are pressuring them. Yeah, Liverpool have played well, but I don't think Liverpool have really got out of first gear yet. I think they're still just trying to get to grips with the possession, just get to grips with how Burnley are set up. I don't think Liverpool have really gone to that next level yet. And look, as you say, Burnley keep it at 0-0 for as long as you possibly can, and then try and nick something late. But that's a nice turn by Gravenberch, and he finds Weerts, who tried the shot, was blocked. He kept it alive though, winning it back. Again, it was a good turn from Gravenberch, and he's in the tight spaces again, linking up with Kierkegaard. A nice cut back. Kierkegaard took the touch away, goes down, and it's going to be a free kick to Burnley, and a yellow card for Milos Kierkegaard for simulation. The referee was certain about that one. See this from Kierkegaard. I mean, that's terrible. I mean, that's just dreadful. I mean, what is Milos Kierkegaard doing? That's never a foul. He's the 29 for Burnley. Josh Laurent. It's never a foul. It's definitely a great decision by the referee. Well spotted. Although you couldn't miss it, if I'm honest. Free kick to Burnley and a yellow card for Milos Kierkegaard, who's now going to be added to the list of boos. But Gravenberch's played well. Those two moments where Liverpool did try and break in behind Burnley, he was intrinsically linked, working in between the lines, linking things up. And those little Gravenberch turns that have become so synonymous over the last season and a half with him, starting to be displayed a little bit. Van Dijk out wide to Gakpo on the left. Gakpo trying to poke it through. It takes a deflection, but the deflection takes it towards the path of Martin Dubravka. He comes and gathers. Konaté winning the first header there, but the ball guided out of play by Hartman, and Burnley will get the throw. Well, Liverpool have won 8 of their 9 away Premier League matches at Turf Moor against Burnley, losing just 1 of those. Kirkes' long ball there was over the top towards Gakpo. He was shoved in the back by Watchalong. A free kick to Liverpool there. Liverpool have won the last 6 in a row away at Burnley, and that's they've won 7 away top flight games, Liverpool, in their history in a row against 3 teams. West Brom, Norwich and Crystal Palace are those 3 that they've won 7 in a row away from home against. A good challenge there by Gravenberch, who initially lost the ball and now veers into a bit of space. Out wide it goes to Gakpo. Into the box comes Cody Gakpo, trying to work an angle. Well blocked. A little bit forced there from Gakpo as Konaté mops up again from the Liverpool, losing the possession. Has got a little bit more scrappy in Burnley, adding a little bit more tempo. It's got the crowd up and going here inside Turf Moor on this pretty damp Sunday afternoon. The atmosphere inside the stadium and the players on the pitch through the tempo certainly not dampened. McAllister. Wirtz. McAllister. Konaté out wide to Salah, who just about gets to the ball ahead of the full-back, and Salah trying to take on Maxime Estève, and he well held on to there, Maxime Estève. It looked like Salah might have got something to that, and he did have the last touch, did the Egyptian, and that's going to be a goal kick to Burnley. 25 minutes gone, still goalless, and as you would expect, Liverpool have been the team in the ascendancy, but to no avail on the scoreline just yet. But you look at the stats, it's almost completely one-sided. It's lacking that clinical edge at the moment. Those clear-cut chances for Liverpool in front of the Burnley goal is what's been missing. Dubravka under a bit of pressure. Not major pressure from Ugo Ekitike there, and he just sent it flying towards Kyle Walker, but he wasn't even keeping that one in. Well, there is Premier League experience mixed in here with Burnley amongst a couple of the players that they've had in the Championship last season, in that 100-point season, where they didn't become champions, by the way, by goal difference. Leeds won the league on goal difference last year. Both teams got 100 points. The first time in Championship history that's ever happened. And Burnley were the team to get 100 points and not win the league, which is quite remarkable. Of course, they have lost players that helped them to that. James Trafford was an unbelievable goalkeeper. He's now at Manchester City, and amongst a few others that have moved on since then for Burnley, and a few that have come in. Most notably, of course, Kyle Walker at right back, and even Martin Dubravka, in a sense, has a lot of Premier League experience in goal for Burnley. There's Leo Gachukwu at Chelsea. Jadon Anthony had time at Bournemouth as well, amongst others. So there is quality there. Josh Cullen was actually in the Premier League with Burnley a number of times previously, as well as was Lyle Foster. Virgil van Dijk. Kirkes going for the early cross. It's deep to Salah. It's over the head of Salah, but it comes out to Szoboszlai on the right. Back to Salah. Salah through the lines, trying to force it again into nowhere, but nicely recovered by Salah, and Wirtz under pressure. Really under pressure from Lyle Foster, and he's lost the ball there, the German. Foster squeezed down the left channel, and the ball bounces out of play off a Liverpool player. That's fabulous play by Lyle Foster, and he gets a high five from his manager. Great hold-up play from the number 9, and he wins Burnley a throw down the left side. Well, we talk about Scott Parker. This is his first game against Liverpool. Scott Parker since the 9-0 thumping of Bournemouth at Anfield back in August of 2022. As Jayden Anthony was seen how to play there, but Dominic Szoboszlai got the last touch on the ball before it left the field of play, so that's a Burnley throw. Or actually, they've given it a Liverpool throw. Dominic Szoboszlai didn't get the last touch. Jayden Anthony was trying to kid the officials to giving them a throw-in, and they weren't having any of it. Kierkegaard. Virgil van Dijk. Around the corner to Florian Wirtz. Goes for the early cross again towards Salah, but that's cleared away. Get the live by McAllister, who wins it back. Kierkegaard back to Alexis McAllister. Round the corner to Gravenberch, who played it first time into the box for Wirtz to chase, and Kyle Walker does really well getting past Wirtz and firing it away from danger. And Szoboszlai taking his time, no rush, and making sure that he gets the ball back to Alisson and feeds it to Virgil van Dijk. Now, Scott Parker has beaten Liverpool before, a 1-0 win in March of 2021. And he could become only the second manager to beat both Jurgen Klopp and Arne Slot in the Premier League, along with Marco Silva, who did it. Because Marco Silva beat Jurgen Klopp before, and beat Arne Slot as Fulham boss at Craven Cottage last season. Fulham won 3-2 on that occasion, if you remember. One of the only games Liverpool lost away from home last season. Ekitike did well to hold up there. Not quite finding the average there, and a through ball here for Lyle Foster, who's broken away from the Liverpool defence. It's a 2-on-2. Foster's wide, he's got an option in the middle, and Chona, but that was well spotted and well marked there by the Liverpool defenders, and they will get a free kick there. Lyle Foster committing the foul on Virgil van Dijk. Yeah, he tracked him very well there, the Liverpool captain. Lyle Foster was trying to work it inside, and Van Dijk, probably one of the best in the business in one-on-one situations against attackers, and on that occasion he came out the better once again with the very experienced Virgil van Dijk. Gravenberch. Szoboszlai back to Ryan Gravenberch. Seems to be running the show from a very tight area in the middle. Here is Gakpo driving into the box. Cody Gakpo lifting one across. Dubravka couldn't clear it. It bounces for Gravenberch, whose shot was blocked. And now Szoboszlai with an effort over the bar. And he got a deflection on the way through there off Dominic Szoboszlai, who quite unconvincingly tries to tell us that it was a deflection, but the referee had already given a corner. See it again, it was good from Gakpo. We'd seen him actually cut inside a lot in the first 20-30 minutes. This is the first time he really drives to the byline, gets the ball across. Dubravka doesn't really do enough at getting it away. He kind of parries it into a dangerous area. Gravenberch has a go, that's blocked. It deflects back out to Szoboszlai, who shoots, and it comes off the back of Jayden Anthony and goes behind for a Liverpool corner. Liverpool starting to maybe unlock the door a little bit. Certainly getting a little bit closer. Wirtz with a right-footed delivery from the corner. It's all the way through and down. And as Burnley try and spring a counter, that really fell apart before it even started. Switch ball out to Wirtz, who chests it down. He's tussling there with Hartman. And Wirtz does really well at getting around the back of Hartman, but Hartman does well in response at getting back to Wirtz, and Liverpool will get the corner down the right-hand side. Yeah, Florian Wirtz has been very heavily involved for Liverpool so far in between the lines, trying to keep it alive, and a lot of players getting very tight and physical with him. And he will take this corner from the right side just like he did 20-30 seconds ago. Goes short this time to McAllister, who will go for the cross himself into the box away from Stev. Just evaded Kierkegaard, who was free in the middle there. Szoboszlai now, Gravenberch. Back to Dominic Szoboszlai as Liverpool keep their height, their bodies with a lot of height up there in the likes of Van Dijk and Konate, but not really finding them at the minute. Here's Ekitike. Kierkegaard still keeping Van Dijk does not want to give up on this. He stayed up there. Gakpo dribbling through, trying to lift it in. Headed away again by Burnley. And the bouncing ball a little bit awkward for McAllister, who does well against Jonah there. Salah tussling, held onto by two, and Cullen bundles over. Apparently under the guise of Mohamed Salah, who probably looked at him and he fell over. And that was a foul that was given. And Burnley take it quickly and win another one. Off Kirkes this time. Jadon Anthony going down. Has got a little bit more scrappy, although Liverpool have been more in control in the last few minutes, certainly in the final third, but Burnley hanging on in there at the minute, and the crowd are loving the fight of their team at this minute in time. And they've got a free kick, a rare free kick inside the Liverpool half, around about the edge of the edge of the centre circle. Liverpool have their line on the edge of the D. Long fizz ball into the box. A flick on was well off target from Iqbal. No real worry for Alisson. It was onto the head of the Burnley defender. He made the nice run off the back of Van Dijk and round the side of Kirkes, but Kirkes did enough to put him off, and the ball headed well wide from Ekdal, the Burnley centre-back. Just over 11 minutes to go with the first half here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Liverpool 0. It has been the champions who have been dominant in all areas, bar the scoreline. Still awaiting that opening goal. Ryan Gravenberch. Out wide it goes to Soberschlag. Drives it back inside. A bit of space here for Salah. Laid it off to McAllister. Back to Salah. Overhits it a little bit to Kirkes. Gakpo now rolls it through for the Hungarian Kirkes, who gets the block off Walker from the cross. That'll be a corner. Again, a little bit of space opened up there for Liverpool, but it's that little bit heavy pass from Salah. They kept it alive well, Liverpool. Stayed unaffected, and they win another corner. This will be Liverpool's 6th corner of the game. Gakpo on the left-hand side this time to take. Right-footed in swinger, and right into the hands of Martin Dubravka, who had the freedom to do it there, and now releases it for a runner. Comes out to the left-hand side here for Burnley, trying to make something of this possession, and they work themselves up the field into a nice midfield area. Cullen. Walker speeding into midfield, and he switches it, tries to switch it, sorry, out to Josh Laurent, who'd made that run forward, but overhit it a little bit there. Did Kyle Walker. It has been an interesting battle so far, and it looks like they're going to make a change in a moment here, Liverpool, which is quite intriguing. Andy Robertson looks to be ready to come on in a moment, which is very interesting. As McAllister there tussling and battling and losing out this time. Oh, that's a lovely little backheel by Chown around the lines. And Laurent gets a block off Gravenberch. It's a Burnley corner. I think Liverpool at the minute maybe losing a little bit of grip. And Burnley trying to add a bit of their own, and their new man Chona did well there down that right hand side to win this corner, which Hartman will take. That was Burnley's first corner of the match. Hartman to deliver, up and away at the near post by Van Dijk. Back to Hartman, who will deliver again, away by Ekitike. And Salah on the chase for this ball. Only got one teammate with him, Salah, but he's got Hartman chasing him down. Salah's got a bit of space. He's trying to go for goal. He had the spot. He had the space. He just couldn't find the finish there, Salah, from a long-range wide area. Dubravka was a little bit open there. Well, here's going to be a change. Milos Kirkes is coming off, and Andy Robertson is coming on. Arne Slot maybe reacting to the difficulty of what his left back is having at the moment. And he's just going to have a chat with his player on the sideline. He's already got a yellow card, Milos Kirkez. And Kirkez taken off after 38 minutes. But could argue that it's due to the yellow card. But I'm sure we'll definitely hear more of that a little later on. Very interesting. And as you said there, Andy, I would have suspected it might have been an injury that would have taken him off. But I don't think it is. Because of the way that... Well, one, Milos Kirkez run off himself, so he looked fine. And two, Arne Slot had a conversation with him as he went off and had a chat and probably explaining why he's taken him off. So it's probably tactical from Liverpool's point of view. Which is what I like to see. I think it brings us back to the very first game under Arne Slot for Liverpool, where he was ruthless. You know, Jarell Kwanzaa started that first game against Ipswich, and a lot of people go back to this. But the ruthless nature, your first game as a manager, here's Andy Robertson. Oh, it's an impact shot straight at Dubravka. Robertson only on the field, and his first involvement turns into a Liverpool shot on target. Robertson dribbling through the lines there fantastically. Burnley stepping off, and then he gets a shot off with his left foot. And it's right at Dubravka, but that, I think, will go down as Liverpool's first shot on target of the afternoon. And Andy Robertson, almost straight off the bench and into the mixer. Almost an instant impact. McAllister fires forward, but too far from Alexis McAllister there. Robertson winning the header. Ball back put on Robertson. Shauna under pressure there as Robertson does well in that one-on-one battle. And Liverpool win the throw-in down the left-hand side. Well, the rain has been coming down, and the majority of this first half it's been wet. Ekitike running out to the left-hand channel here for Liverpool. Ugo Ekitike dribbling into the box. Ekitike pokes it across, and it doesn't go too far away. It might have been a bit of fortune with a deflection, but Ugo Ekitike's directness there. And he had a shot from a very narrow angle. Dubravka was watching it as it came across, and it skimmed past the right post. Really good work from Ekitike. Breaks into the box, and then he pokes it. Tries to put a bit of spin on it, and it does curl back, but just nowhere near enough to send it in. That's a tough one to take from that sort of area. And that would have been some goal if it did go in. But he just couldn't get it round the right side of the post for him. And it goes wide for a goal kick. But not seen much of Ugo Ekitike so far in terms of his running. And on that occasion, he did well to get around the Burnley defence and be a bit more direct from a wide area. And he almost created a good chance. Robertson. Out wide to find Cody Gakpo in space. Cody Gakpo, chopping onto his right for Gakpo to have a shot blocked. And the deflection was flying through the Burnley box and out the other end for a corner. Yeah, it was good work there from Liverpool. Robertson laid it off to Gakpo, and Gakpo chopping onto his right foot again. This time it was well blocked by a Burnley player there, showing his back to the edge of the box. And it goes behind for a Liverpool corner. Weerts to take again. Right-footed delivery, up and flying in the air, still alive. Gravenberch wins the header on the edge, but Liverpool don't win the second ball. And Weerts, who won the ball, the bounce lets him away, and Burnley fire it up the field, only for Alisson to gather in his own box. Again, Burnley haven't really done much on the counter-attack. They've tried, and credit to them, they've probably shown a bit. But Liverpool lacking that cutting edge at the minute. Don't want to be too harsh on the champions, but you have to be honest, they have looked bright in moments, not on a consistent basis in this first half. They have been dominant without much concern for Martin Dubravka's goal on many an occasion. I have to be honest about that. But a long way to go. Still 2.5 minutes of this first half, which is absolutely flown by the way. This first 45. If Burnley do get to half-time at 0-0, they will garner so much confidence from that. But we know Liverpool don't worry about not winning late in games. They love a late goal. That's a through ball by Gakpo, but it skidded off the surface and was too far ahead of Andy Robertson, who was in there in the box. Goal kick. Now, a reminder for you, our game of the week concludes match week 4 here in LFS. A little later on, 4:30 kickoff from the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City take on Man United in the 197th Manchester derby. That kicks off at 4:30, and we'll have team news in about half an hour's time from that one. And we'll see what interesting, intriguing team news we have to bring you up to date with. Offside there against Burnley. Liverpool wanted to take the free kick quickly, but referee Michael Oliver says no can do. Van Dijk striding forward. I think Liverpool need to be a bit more direct. We saw when they were being direct, where they were running at the Burnley defence. We saw it with Andy Robertson's chance. We saw it with Ugo Ekitike's chance a moment or two ago. That's when they're finding the space. It's when they're being too ticky-taka and trying to pass too quickly. That's where Burnley are getting blocks in. That's where Burnley are getting the stopping Liverpool. And I think if they be a bit more direct and hang on to the ball a little bit more, carry the ball a little bit more, they can find a little bit more joy. Here's Ekitike. Just being too possession-based at the minute, Liverpool. They need to be a bit more direct. Konate into space. Nice reverse ball by Wirtz, laid away by Szoboszlai to Salah. Wirtz into Salah. The ball just escaped Mohamed Salah's grasp there as he entered the box. There are gaps, you got to say. You can see where there are areas where Liverpool can exploit. There's a lot of promise still in this game for both teams as it stands with the way the game has gone. McAllister going for one there, an optimistic one from about 27 yards. And that's gone well wide. 3 additional minutes at the end of the first half then. And I'm sure Arne Slot will have a lot to say of his players at half-time. A lot of real simple stuff. Be more efficient with the ball. Use it to your advantage more and create more chances. Find the space. Find the opportunities. They've had 10 shots, Liverpool, but just one of those on target. And that was Andy Robertson's effort in his first involvement of the game. Burnley have had 2 shots, none on target. 80% possession for Liverpool. An XG of 0.91, so they have been in good areas where they should be doing better. Robertson's ball over the top was well defended there by the left-back Hartman for Burnley, who's very heavily involved in this game for the Clarets. As Burnley get the brick of the ball there in the midfield. Kyle Walker out to the right side, looking for options in the middle. Plays it across to Chona, back to Walker. Cullen. Walker goes back to Laurent. And back across to Ekdal. We'll try and pump it forward. Chona winning the header. The second ball won by Konate. And brought down by Ekitike in a tight space. He does really well there, Ekitike. And now Gravenberg. Nice little movement between the lines. Goes out to the left-hand side. Picked up by Gakpo. Robertson on the overlap. Robertson getting a cross in. Taken by Wirtz across. And just ahead of Ugo Ekitike. Although there's going to be a foul for Burnley here. I think they're going to get a free kick. Get better from Robertson. Firing it across. And Wirtz again in between the lines. He has a go. It turns into more of a cross than a shot. And Ekitike was there just on his heels. He was in the right area. A little bit better from Liverpool in between the lines. Header won by Van Dijk. Second ball brought down in the middle by Burnley. In Josh Laurent. Chona. Cullen trying to find Laurent, who made the run down the right hand side, and bundled over by Chona was McAllister. He wanted to take the free kick, but Chona wasn't allowing him to do so. Gravenberg. Yeah, I gotta say, Andy Robertson has come on to the field and has been more important, has added that extra little bit of balance down that left-hand side for Liverpool. Giving them a little bit more positivity down the left. They look a little bit more comfortable than they did before. And there is the half-time whistle. 48 minutes of a first half here at Turf Moor, and it is honours even at the moment. The champions being held by newly promoted Burnley. They've been in their games right the way through so far, Burnley. Well, they're very much in this one. Liverpool have had all the control, all the dominance, all the chances, and not many clear-cut ones to that, but it is goalless at the break. Burnley 0, Liverpool 0. We'll analyse that game and round up all of yesterday's results in just a few minutes. Do stay with us. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to Premier League Live, half-time at Turf Moor. It's Burnley 0, Liverpool 0 at the break. Great to have you with us for this one. Nothing between these two sides. You got to say in terms of the scoreline from that first half, but if you look at the stats, as you can see on that right-hand side, it's been all Liverpool in terms of the control of the game, but the most crucial stat is that one right above my head, the scoreline, where it is still goalless. Liverpool have come close, but not on too many occasions. Have Burnley been able to be, or have they been able to open up Burnley defensively? Burnley have chances on the counter-attack, but very few and far between. It's been a lot of defending for Burnley, and so far, so good for the newly promoted side. Right, let's recap yesterday's games before we do analyse that first half then. And a quick look at yesterday's games. Or actually, we'll analyse the first half and then we'll come back to those games. Apologies. I think if I had to take one thing from that first half, I think it's a lot of easy possession for Liverpool, if I'm honest. They've not really, on too many occasions, poked the ball into Burnley's box. They've not really tried to go through them. They've gone around them, and Burnley have been happy. Liverpool have put crosses in. Corners, I gotta say, corners have looked a little bit of a threat, but nothing too major. I think Liverpool have moved around Burnley a lot, and even when they have moved in between the lines, it's been a lot of outside the box kind of intricate play, and then when they get in and around the box, there's just too many bodies for them to get through. I think they need to be more direct. I think they need to be more kind of intentional in their movement. I think at times Liverpool are moving it from side to side, and they're not being kind of, it's not poor, it's not bad, it's not awful play, but it's just a little bit blunt-edged, and I think we need to see a little bit more. I think there was a few glimpses, a few indeed, in that first half where Liverpool did kind of break the lines. Andy Robertson, when he first come on, charged through, made a really good little dribbling run and got a shot off. It was a low, really easy shot for Dubravka to save, but it was their only shot on target of the first half. Then Ugo Ekitike off that left-hand side, he made a nice run, driving into the defence down that left channel, breaking into the box at a really narrow angle, had a shot that he put a bit of curl on, didn't have enough curl to take it past Dubravka, just goes wide of the post. But those are two moments that I can pinpoint right now of Liverpool being direct, being intentional, driving, trying to drive through the Burnley team rather than trying to pass too much. At times, they've been a little bit too much tiki-taka and just passing it around for the sake of passing it around and keeping the possession. And as I say all the time in games, and I don't want to be too harsh because at the end of the day, games can go like this. Liverpool can come out in the second half and do the same thing they did in the first half and score 3 goals. It can change on a dime. But what I'm saying is they've had, 78% possession? And they've had 10 shots, which is fair enough. But they've had 1 shot on target. 4 of their 10 shots have been off target and 5 have been blocked. So you can see that there's a lot of Burnley contribution there to blocking the efforts. But a lot of Liverpool's play has been in and around the outside of the box rather than poking it into the box. And the 2 times they did get in and around the box inside it, with those direct runs, they were much more threatening and involved. And I think that is what they need to target. Burnley are happy enough to defend their 18-yard box as long as Liverpool are outside it. When they cause a little bit of chaos inside the box, Liverpool, we've seen where Burnley have looked a little bit frail. They have had space to give up. And those are moments where I think Liverpool just need to have that extra little edge. There's quality there. It's just not on show at the moment. Konate had a couple of headers, one that he headed over the bar as well. Ekitike did have a chance, but we've not really seen him very much in the box. Salah as well, a lot of outside the box play, not very much inside. Liverpool very wide, and Burnley are happy to play them wide. They're forcing them wide. They're happy with that because they have a very narrow midfield and a very wide back 5, so they're covering the space in 2 areas of the field and trying to stifle Liverpool, and so far, so good in that situation. But we will see at this second half, and as I say, it could change in a matter of seconds. Liverpool could come out in the second half and be a little bit sharper maybe, or a little bit less, not ponderous, that's harsh, but a little bit less tiki-taka, and they could find 3 goals in a matter of minutes. It could happen. I'm not at the minute saying that happening, but it could happen. And I think in the way that we go about seeing this game, Burnley will have a tougher task in the second half because Liverpool will be even more determined to score goals. But at the same time for Burnley, it's a very positive first half to take from it because they haven't conceded and they're holding arguably the best team in the league at the minute in Liverpool and the champions to a goalless draw at half-time at home. That's exactly, I'm sure, what Scott Parker and his team would have wanted coming into this game. At least get to half-time and we'll see where we stand. And they stand on a level playing field with Liverpool going into the second half. So they can be a little bit more expressive, Burnley. And who knows, that could go for them or it could go very much against them. But we will see. We will see. Let's go to all those results from yesterday then, and we'll recap them all for you. We've got some nice fancy graphics, but we don't have one for the Arsenal game because we did that one yesterday. Arsenal 3-0 winners against Nottingham Forest, so that was a big result for Arsenal. Back to winning ways after defeat to Liverpool. Zubimendi with 2 and Victor Gyökeres with his 3rd goal and 2 home appearances for Arsenal made it 3-0. It was then to the 3 o'clockers, Bournemouth and Brighton, a battle of the South Coast teams. Yesterday, Alex Scott gave Bournemouth the lead. It was Karim Mitoma that levelled for Brighton on 48, but it was a penalty from Antoine Semenyo that got the job over the line, and Bournemouth, 9 points out of a possible 12. They've only lost to the champions Liverpool. That's the only time they've failed to win in the Premier League this season, Bournemouth. So far, so good for Andoni Iraola's side. And to boot, it is their best start to a Premier League season in their history this season. So it is getting better and better for Bournemouth. It was nothing to be separating Crystal Palace or Sunderland, but as you can see, a lot of blue on that graphic, showing the dominance of Crystal Palace on the day in terms of their shots and their shots on target. Sunderland without a shot on target at Sellers Park yesterday, and very little to show for it in front of goal, as you can see with the XG. but it was a point that they will be very happy to take away from home at Crystal Palace. It is a point that gives Sunderland 7 points from their first 4 Premier League games. 2 wins, a draw and a defeat from their first 4 is a very positive return for Sunderland, and their only defeat came against newly promoted Burnley away from home on match day 2. For Crystal Palace, it is a little bit of a different result in the fact that they've had a decent start to the season. They're unbeaten, 1 win and 3 draws from their first 4 games. Crystal Palace 6 points from a possible 12. It was another goalless draw, this time at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, a stadium that any side away from home is yet to score in. Everton have kept 2 clean sheets in their new home to start the campaign at the Hill Dickinson, but they couldn't score themselves this time. They had a lot of firepower, a lot of threat, and they had the Premier League's Player of the Month, Jack Grealish, but they couldn't find the net against Aston Villa, who haven't scored this season, Aston Villa, which is quite a stark revelation at the moment. Everton, it's another good point for them. 2 wins, a draw and a defeat from their first 4, 7 points for them. Villa, their second draw of the season. They're yet to win alongside Wolves, so the other team yet to win this season. Villa yet to score as well, and they have just 2 points from their first 4 games. And you can see by the stats there which side was more likely to find the net on the day. It was just the 1 goal that separated the sides at Craven Cottage. Fulham needed that late winner. An own goal from Gudmundsson for Leeds, the Leeds left back. Denied Leeds anything out of that game when it looked like they might have been scraping a point, and at the end it was a very even affair and probably should have been a draw, but a late own goal, a heartbreaker for the Leeds defender there, Gudmundsson. Gabriel Gudmundsson means his team lose all 3 points and Fulham take all 3 away from home. It means it's 2 defeats out of 2 on the road for Leeds. They sit with 4 points from 4 games. Fulham, their first win of the season, that is, and they have 5 points from their first 4. A bit of fortune there, some late goals gaining points for Fulham. It is the first 3 points of the season for Newcastle as well. Yesterday a 1-0 win. Nick Voltemada on his debut for Newcastle United got off to a great start and scored the only goal in a 1-0 win over Wolves yesterday for Newcastle. Their first, as I said, their first win of the season for Newcastle, who dominated that game, as you can see in the way that they performed on the day. A Wolves side yet to pick up a point this season. They're the only side without a point after 4 games. And they have lost all 4 of their opening games this season, and they have scored just 2 goals, have Wolves. It is not a nice return for Vito Pereira's team, who were, by some standards, with a lot of people, predicted for relegation this season, and they are not doing any kindness to themselves at staving off that sort of reflection. Newcastle up to 9th with 5 points. To the late games, and it was a comfortable victory for Tottenham. A return to winning ways for Thomas Frank's team after their defeat at home to Bournemouth on match day 3. But they return with a big away win at the Hammers, who are not in a good position either. Pap Sarr, Lucas Bergwall and Mickey van de Ven all on the score sheet for Spurs at a 3-0 victory. Thomas Soucek was also shown red in that one for West Ham United, and that means that West Ham sit in the bottom 3, just 1 win from 4 games, 3 points out of those 4 matches. Spurs sit 3rd in the table as it stands. They were 2nd coming into today's action. Only Arsenal on goal difference sat above them. Liverpool, as it stands, would be going above them, but going into today's action, Spurs were in 2nd. And to last night's great dramatic London derby at the G-Tech, a great result for Keith Andrews and his team. It looked like Chelsea were going to steal all the points. It was Kevin Schade that opened the scoring for Brentford, gave them a lead, but it was 2 second-half goals for Chelsea that looked like it was turning them around. 8 minutes on the field and Cole Palmer got his goal to equalise for Chelsea before Moises Caicedo rocketed one in for 2-1 at that point in 85 minutes, but a 93rd minute goal from Fabio Carvalho off the bench rescued a point for Brentford in a game they probably deserved at least a point in. As you can see there, all the stats going in the favour of both teams. It was a quite even game in some senses, and a late goal from Fabio Carvalho rescues a point for Brentford. Chelsea could have went top last night with a win, but they didn't, and they 2 wins, 2 draws from their first 4 games sees them on 8 points. Brentford with 4 points from their first 4. Right, that is all of yesterday's results. We have one half-time scoreline to bring you. Burnley 0, Liverpool 0. The full-time game from the Championship earlier this afternoon is goalless between Southampton and Portsmouth. And we'll be back for the second half at Turf Moor on the way next. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half time at Turf Moor. It's Burnley 0, Liverpool 0, and Liverpool look to be making another change at half time. So we'll see what that's all about in a moment. Milos Kerkez was brought off in the first half for Andy Robertson, and it looks like Connor Bradley is going to be coming on. A return from injury for Connor Bradley, and is coming on to the field here for Liverpool at half-time and replacing Alexis McAllister, who had a knock from the first half, so that might be a little bit of a worry for Liverpool. Connor Bradley on, so Szoboszlai will move into midfield, and Connor Bradley will take up that right-back position as we get back underway for the second half. And we are back underway, and Burnley win a throw-in down their left-hand side off Ibrahima Konate's header. 45 minutes, Burnley able to hold out the champions. Can they do it for another 45 and more in this second half? And maybe give something to believe in themselves in trying to get something of their own positivity here. Well, Arne Slot knows how to tinker with his team and make changes in-game to affect how his team are playing and to give them the best opportunity to win. He's already changed both fullbacks. Let's see what impact that could have. We saw Andy Robertson make an impact off the bench in the first half when he came on for the 8-10 minutes that he was on the field in that first half. And Connor Bradley on for the second half with McAllister coming off and Szoboszlai, who started at right back, moving into midfield. Here is Connor Bradley. Back to Van Dijk. Szoboszlai now to Salah down the right hand side, flicked into towards the box, blocked away by Burnley as Szoboszlai retrieves. Gravenberch. Liverpool kicking from left to right in the second half. Burnley from right to left. Gravenberch taking his time on the ball, not rushing his pass, plays it out wide to Robertson. Down the line it goes to Gakpo, up against Walker. Gakpo takes him on. Into the box goes Gakpo. Goes down. And the ball goes behind, well managed by Kyle Walker for a corner. There was a little hint and a smile there from Michael Oliver. See this again. Gakpo breaks down the line. You know, it's never anything, never a penalty. No chance in that, but it is a corner to Liverpool. Yeah, there's not enough in that. They do make contact, but there's not enough for a penalty. It's a corner to Liverpool, left-hand side. Walker well defended, Cody Gakpo there. Ball delivered in, narrow. Up and away at the near post. It bounces down right where it was headed initially. Ekatike trying to cause a battle. And the ball falls for Gravenberch, who had a wild effort at it there. And it just goes over the bar. That came flying out of nowhere, Ryan Gravenberch there. Just bouncing down. Burnley failed to clear their lines, and the ball half cleared by Foster, and it falls perfectly for Ryan Gravenberch to take it on the volley. Smashes through it, and it takes a deflection through Laurent and carries it over the bar. But that was a great effort from Ryan Gravenberch. And it came out of nowhere. Ekatike trying to hold the ball off and couldn't find Gakpo, allowing Burnley to retrieve, but that's probably the closest Liverpool have come. That Gravenberch effort. Bradley fires the ball forward. Szoboszlai stepping in to win the ball. Tight space, looking to switch it. Chested by Gakpo, but it's just evaded him, although he keeps it in play. The Dutchman, Gakpo. Inside to Robertson, goes for the early cross, up, and the header is just whistled past the post by Conor Bradley. And it will be a corner. Took a deflection on the way through there. See it again, early cross by Robertson, fullback to fullback, and Bradley breaking in almost as a right winger in the middle there. Good cross by Robertson, and I think Esteve was in the mix, or was it Ekdal? One of the two Burnley centre-backs battling Conor Bradley. And it is a Liverpool corner on the left-hand side. So Gakpo to take. Right-footed, it's narrow again. Punched away by Dubravka. Ball recycled wide by Bradley to Weerts. Weerts played to Salah, who rolled the ball but was met as he turned by a Burnley player, and Kyle Walker does well to play it off Salah and gets Burnley a goal kick. Yeah, and Burnley have defended those moments well, to their credit. And Liverpool, although they've had 2 shots in the second half, I think those 2 shots have looked more threatening than probably the 10 they had in the first half. And Mo Salah, this isn't his most liked opponent. Scored just 1 goal against Burnley. He's played them 10 times. That's the fewest in that ratio. Played them 10 and scored just 1 against them in his career, Mo Salah. One of his least favouring opponents. Long throw by Burnley, one by Robertson, brought down by Weerts and carried by Gravenberch. Out to the right hand side for Bradley to chase. On the charge, down the right side comes Salah. Bradley on the inside run. Salah lays it off to Szoboszlai, who tried to fire it round the corner. Fire it he did, and then put too much on it. Goal kick. Again, Liverpool doing the right things in the build-up. When they get it in around the 18-yard box, they're just trying to be too clever. They just need to be more, not basic, but they just need to stick to the simple things. Overcomplicating it a little bit sometimes. Sometimes the simple thing is the right thing. Dubravka fire it away again. Header won by Szoboszlai. A little bit of a failed swoop there to kick it away as Liverpool tussling in the middle. And the ball flicked over the top here from Burnley, but all the way through to Allison, who in no way was concerned, it seemed. As Robertson unleashed down the left by his keeper. Gakpo back into the middle for Weerts. Finding Bradley. Salah linking up with Weerts, back to Salah, back to Weerts, back it comes to Conor Bradley, who rolls it across for Szoboszlai, who was well challenged and seen off the ball there again. But Liverpool maybe getting a little bit more of a glimmer inside the 18-yard box there of Burnley, as they did break forward. And the Liverpool fans inside Turf Moor can be heard here, probably for the first time this afternoon. And how the Burnley fans react to that. This chant of "Come on Burnley." Here comes Gakpo. Back to Robertson. Van Dijk. Down the line to Robertson. Goes for the early cross. Ekitike just over his head. And as he tried to beat off his man, committing a foul there, Ugo Ekitike in the process. Well, Liverpool are looking to win their opening 4 Premier League matches in a season for the 3rd time. Also doing so in the 18-19 campaign, where they finished second, and of course the 19-20 campaign where they won the title. It would be the 3rd time in a row the reigning top flight champions have won their first 4 games, when City did it in the last 2 seasons, and the first time ever in top flight history that would happen 3 times in a row. Liverpool have to find the net here for that reign to continue. Van Dijk. Robertson. Van Dijk across to Konate. Tight spaces from Wirtz and Szoboszlai again. Wirtz does well. Szoboszlai now to Salah. Salah to Wirtz. Liverpool being more intrinsic in their play. Szoboszlai now round the corner to Salah. Salah back to Wirtz, trying to flick it over the top. Blocked by a Burnley player, and again Burnley clear it. And they get a nice flick on here, which has given them a little bit of a breakaway. A rare breakaway. And they've played it through. And the player in Shauna breaking through there couldn't quite get to the ball as it was played through. But there was a little glimpse of Burnley, what they can offer. Liverpool a little loose again there, and Ekitike does well at coming back in to retrieve. Game's opening up a little bit more. I don't know who that supports. I would suspect it would support Liverpool. You never know. Never know. Robertson. Wirtz. Drifting towards the edge of the box. Jinking on a man. Jinking another man. And Wirtz just whistled past the post. It's the really good bit of play there from Florian Wirtz. He jinked one man. Then jinked another. And he was waiting for the finish, as we all were. And it just was guided slightly wide of the right post. Lovely little footwork from Wirtz. There's been no doubt about that today. His footwork has been absolutely excellent in tight spaces. Really excellent at times in tight spaces. And we saw that Burnley counter-attack that was well defended in the end by Liverpool. The first real foray forward from Burnley in this second period so far, and of which we've played 10 minutes. And Andy, they're saying the closer it gets to 70 minutes, the more chances Liverpool will create for themselves. That is true. Will they find a breakthrough is the key. Wirtz hanging on well, finding it out wide to Szoboszlai, who goes across. And the cross was too close to Dubravka, who catches, but Liverpool looking a bit more fluid at times. Ekitike tried to battle for the ball. It just fell over, really. As Van Dijk committed in there. And actually too committed on that Chowner there. Free kick to Burnley. You see it here. Chowner did really well shielding the ball, and Van Dijk just came in. Caught him in the back a little bit with his knee. Switch ball there from Burnley, and not the best of headers from Conor Bradley. It's a tricky one to deal with, as Hartman did well there with Anthony, but couldn't keep it in play there. Hartman. I'm not attempting to say his first name because I do not want to butcher it, and I know I would if I did say it, so we'll stick with Hartman for now. You know who I'm on about. Konate. Virgil van Dijk. Konate. Into Gravenberg. Burnley again sitting deep, 5-4-1 out of possession. Narrow midfield, wide defence. Wirtz. A lot of Liverpool movement now from the front line. Lovely little flick round the corner for Ekitike in the box. Ugo Ekitike, can he get a shot off? He does. Blocked. Szoboszlai shot blocked. Falls to Ekitike again. It's back to his feet, and he's sent flying, as is the ball. And that was a little better from Liverpool. A little reverse ball by Wirtz sent Ekitike into a good space. He couldn't get a shooting opportunity, and when he did, it was blocked. Burnley are hanging on for their lives here. They're throwing everything at this. Everybody they've got at it. Robertson, Ekitike, flick. Wirtz trying to head it back across, and incoming was Bradley. And Burnley clear it just in the nick of time. Kept alive by Gakpo down the left. Wirtz, Gakpo. Gravenberg. Now Szoboszlai is going to fire one, and forces a good save out of Dubravka. Well, he scored against Arsenal from 30-odd yards. He almost scored against Burnley from similar distance there. Good save by Dubravka to parry it over the bar. Lightning doesn't really strike twice, does it? And it almost did there. Corner for Liverpool. He's got that pile driver on him, does Dominic Szoboszlai. He almost unleashed it again. Gakpo to take this corner. Very arrogant Liverpool into the box here. Oh, in the corner. Had too much on it from Gakpo. It sailed over all of his teammates. And that narrow, very narrow delivery. And it goes behind for a goal kick. See that effort. That's a great... It's a good right hand from Dubravka. He fires it cleanly there, does Szoboszlai. Having a little chat there, Szoboszlai with the referee, maybe talking about the shot, I would suspect. It's Bradley having to tussle with Leslie Ogachukwu. Winning the ball there. Bradley under pressure does well to get out of that tight space. Finding Szoboszlai, who skips past the challenge. Space now for Liverpool, who can break forward. They need to break quickly. Burnley retrieving and retreating bodies. Robertson. Szoboszlai down the left. Finding Gakpo. Gakpo against Kyle Walker. Beats past him. Gakpo lifts it up. Away by Hartman, not fully cleared. Walker chests it back and keeper keeps it in play. Wirtz has stolen it away from him, but it's gone out for a corner before that. That was far from convincing from Kyle Walker there. A little bit too blasé in his own box. And his keeper couldn't catch. Corner taken short. Cut back to Szoboszlai, who flicks it in. Up and away again. Gravenberch laid it off to Salah. Salah trying to lift it round to the back post, header down and a cross and wide from Andy Robertson. Goal kick. And Robertson, I think, was offside in any case from that header. It's been more of the same from Liverpool. 6 shots, 1 on target, 16 opposition touches, or touches in the opposition box, 79% possession. Just need that extra little cutting edge if they can find it. Wirtz. Nice little header control and chested it down as well. Finding Gakpo. Cody Gakpo in a bit of space. Rolls it back for Florian Wirtz, who will have a shot. Charged down by Cullen, who took the full blast of that right in front of him from about 3 yards away. Well, Liverpool are getting into the right areas, but Burnley are throwing so many bodies that Liverpool have to be so much more intricate. It's really been fabulous defending from Burnley so far. Massive credit to them. Massive, massive credit so far. And they're going to make some changes here. By the way, the home side. And we'll see if these 2 changes can make a difference for Burnley. And maybe in an attacking sense. We will see. I'll get you the confirmation of those subs in a second. The new signing is on the field. So here come Liverpool again down the left-hand side. Gakpo. Back across to the centre for Szoboszlai. Gravenberch. Konate. Connor Bradley. Out wide to Salah. Salah onto his left foot. Plays it inside to Gravenberch now. Szoboszlai wasn't too sure whether he wanted a shot there himself, and he kind of messed it up a little bit and then bundles over a Burnley player. So confirmation, Josh Cullen and Caoimhan come off there, and Hannibal and Florentino Luis are on for Burnley, so a double substitution for the home side. 63 minutes gone. Burnley 0, Liverpool 0. Burnley won 4 of their first 7 Premier League matches against the reigning champions of those seasons. They've since lost 10 of 11, conceding 30 goals in those 10 defeats. And here come Liverpool. Salah trying a little jinky one, and it had Dubravka diving. But it goes across, and I don't think Salah meant it. But it was a little awkward from Dubravka, who wasn't sure what to do there. Yeah, again, really good from Conor Bradley in the tight areas. Lays it off to Salah. He was in a good space, Salah, and he got options, but he tried to cross, and the cross wasn't the best from Salah. And it almost turned into a shot and an effort of his own that had Dubravka diving to make sure it didn't go in. I don't even think if it was going in, I don't think Dubravka would have done very much to stop it, because he was off his line there. Bradley forcing a block. Konate does well to win it back. Header won by the Burnley midfield. It's brought down that left hand side for Lyle Foster, but Conor Bradley into a tight space for Gravenberch, who wins a throw-in down that side. Well, a reminder for you, we've got another game to come. The game of the week is coming up very shortly. The Manchester Derby, City against United at the Etihad. 4:30 kickoff. We'll bring you team news in just a second from that one. Some intriguing team news, I'm sure, and we'll bring that to you in a few minutes. 25 to go here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Liverpool 0. What's in the locker of Liverpool? What have they got up their sleeve that they can try and get something late here? There's loads of time still for anything to happen. It's been one-way traffic in the second half. Robertson to deliver. Dubravka punching it away, not fully cleared. Salah takes a touch on the edge. And we'll recycle it back to Van Dijk once again. Gravenberch on the turn. Gravenberch's going to hit one, and the deflection blocked it, and Esteve is just going to see it back to his goalkeeper there. Right, quickly, team news from the Etihad to tell you. Donnarumma makes his debut in the City goal. Nico O'Reilly, Kusanov, Diaz and Vardy, all of the defenders. Vardy, his first appearance of the season after having that pre-season injury, so he starts. Bernardo Silva, Rodri and Reinders in the midfield, with a front three of Phil Foden, Jeremy Doku and Erling Haaland. For Manchester United, a 3-4-3 as per usual. Dorgu, Euro, De Ligt, Mazraoui and Shaw, the defenders. Ugarte and Fernandes in midfield, with Ahmad, Mbeumo and Šeško all starting up front. Here's Robertson in behind for Liverpool, skipping it across, blocked by Walker. Wirtz lays it off, and the shot from Szoboszlai blocked again. Konate tussling and battling, winning the ball. Salah fired back to Conor Bradley, who takes a nice first touch. Second touch is good too, but he's caught out as he breaks forward. And now the break could be on here for Burnley. Jadon Anthony down the left-hand side. He's got one option. He's going to try and find him, and he doesn't do so, as Gravenberch got the block, and Van Dijk heads it into a contested area. Liverpool a little frail there, no one chasing to the ball. Anthony wins it back, and Konate steps in to win it back for Liverpool. Wirtz. Szoboszlai now down the right comes Salah. Salah across to Wirtz. Closed out well. Lays it off to Gakpo. Gakpo lays it back to Gravenberch. They got into the box there, Liverpool, and walked themselves out of it. Conor Bradley. Now Szoboszlai tried the cross. Blocked the first man out for the throw-in. Hartman again with a block. They've been unbelievable today, Burnley, defensively. So far reaping the rewards, keeping that clean sheet as it stands. 22 minutes to go. Gravenberch. Lovely little 1-2 jinx, and Salah there couldn't get on the end of Wirtz's return ball. Again, it was good play initially. Salah and Wirtz just couldn't ultimately combine there in the end. But they've tried it all afternoon, Salah and Wirtz. They're Link-up has looked much sharper. But to no joy at this moment in time as Bradley looked to be dispossessed, but Konate has it back, and now Van Dijk, as Liverpool, maybe some movement off the bench for them as well. Already changed both fullbacks. They still have two pit windows where they can make subs, and they can make 3 of them. Weerts again had 2 options there, but again Burnley blocking every effort. Started to see Alisson get more involved in the build-up now. When Burnley clear it away, Alisson's retrieving it, giving it to his centre-backs a little bit more. 21 minutes to go. Virgil van Dijk pokes it through the lines. Gravenberch again retrieved it, but he was smothered. Konate did well to switch it to Robertson. 1-2 with Ekitike. Down the line it goes to Gakpo. Jinks inside. A bit short to Soberslai, but Gakpo gets it back. Now Ekitike. Gravenberch to Konate. Constant Liverpool possession. But Burnley standing firm, as they have done all afternoon so far. Virgil van Dijk. Down the left side comes Gakpo. Up against Walker, cuts inside, lifts it deep. Salah back across goal. Headed away. And Gravenberch recycled. Liverpool trying to work angles, trying to work opportunities. Again, Burnley's defence has been remarkable. There in every instance. Konate's fired ball into the box. Headed away by Walker at the back post. Van Dijk. Weerts. Can't take your eyes off it. You never know what's going to happen in the next minute. And there, Soberslai hit it straight to the referee, but that's going to be like an uncontested drop ball for Liverpool, of course, because it hit the referee. Look at that. The last 5 minutes, Liverpool have had 93% possession. And now the game has stopped. Liverpool are going to make a change and going to see Ekitike come off and Federico Chiesa coming on. So Chiesa came on in the Bournemouth game for Liverpool and scored the winner. Salah added on to that, but he scored the goal that made it 3-2 to Liverpool on that night. Can he come on and make the difference off the bench here this afternoon? Chiesa. Konate. Bradley. And they've already started singing the Chiesa song, the Liverpool fans. Liverpool fans regarding it as one of their best that they've had. A lot of lyrics to it. And Liverpool already having the support of their fans with that song. Early cross from Robertson, the flick on header from Chiesa, and his first involvement was a delivery from Robertson that came off his head and went wide, but in the mixer, Robertson with that really good delivery again, right onto the head of Chiesa. He wasn't probably happy with himself maybe that header couldn't be directed towards goal, and he's not happy. Adama says, knew it was going to be like this after the international break. Keep the faith, Reds. Well, 100%, it's not going to be easy. I mean, Burnley had a very good defence last year, albeit a very different technique, very different players, very different league. But they've got it in their locker. The structures work. They've won a free kick here, Burnley, actually. Hartman in the Liverpool half. But I think Burnley's defending has been remarkable today. Could it be a springboard for something even better than a point? Hartman fizzing it into the box. Header away by Soberslai. And the follow-up is a sliced kick through the lines, and offside was Jadon Anthony. Goal kick to Liverpool anyway. It would have been, but it's a free kick. It's been all Liverpool in the second half. All Liverpool, with no cutting edge at the minute though. Gakpo. They've tried at Liverpool. They've tried a lot of different things, but so far Burnley have had the answers to every single question that Liverpool have asked them. And that you have to applaud at this stage. Salah. Back to Bradley. Bradley across to Van Dijk. Down the left side is Gakpo. Up against Walker. Gakpo in the tight space. Robertson with another cross. Left it in there. A little bit high, but Salah retrieves on the far right side. Plays it inside to Szoboszlai, who will strike. And with a left-footed effort, dragged it wide of the right post. Yeah, good work from Salah. And Szoboszlai, really the first time we've seen Liverpool come across and find a bit of space on the edge of the box to have a shot like that. And Szoboszlai just dragged it wide. And what will Arne Slot, Sipke Hulshoff and Giovanni van Bronckhorst there all in conversation? What will they conjure up to try and get the champions over the line again? They needed to get over the line against Bournemouth and against Newcastle, and they needed a bit of magic against Arsenal. But they have 9 from 9. They need a little bit of magic here to make it 12 out of 12, as Connor Bradley is put in a challenge here, and it's going to see a yellow card go his way for a foul on Jadon Anthony. We'll have to see it again. And initially the referee's given yellow. Connor Bradley arguing his case, but we'll see it again. It'll be fair, he won the ball. Yeah, the follow through. It's similar to the one in the first half, or the first half it was. There was a follow through on McAllister from Mugachukwu. It's similar type of thing. It's definitely a yellow. Nothing more than that. Yellow card for Connor Bradley. 14 and a half minutes to go. Mugachukwu, I don't know what claim he's making. Maybe his sock was ripped, but he's a strange looking socks, Jadon Anthony. He's kind of rolled them up from the bottom, and they're up his leg where the studs are, but he's left a little bit of space around his ankle. That's a strange looking sock. Anyway, we're not doing sock reviews. So far, 21 shots from Liverpool in this game, just 2 of those on target. Incredible. 11 of those 21 shots have been blocked. That's how much Burnley have done today. Burnley have had 3 shots, none of them on target in this game. I mean, that is quite incredible how much Burnley have contributed, how much defending they've had to do this afternoon, and they've done it so superbly. So superbly. Well, of course, Liverpool have scored in 37 consecutive Premier League matches now. This is their longest run in top-flight history. Only Spurs with 39 in a row, and Arsenal 55 in a row have scored in more Premier League matches in a row than Liverpool in English football history. That Spurs run actually became between March 23 and March 24, and Arsenal's run was May 01 and November 02. Liverpool, at the minute, that run of 37 games scoring would be coming to an end as it stands. It would be coming to an end as it stands. Burnley have a free kick here. And to defend this, first Liverpool, Hartman. Up and headed away by Gravenberch. Liverpool on the high press. And sends Walker fly, or sends the ball flying, does Walker. And it's bouncing, it's bouncing. It was kept in for a split second by Hannibal, but it was carried over the byline. Goal kick. As I said, this is not only a draw that would be great for Burnley and for Liverpool. It wouldn't be great for Liverpool. It would be great for Burnley, of course. A draw. It would be the first draw between the two sides at Turf Moor in the Premier League era. Which I would have expected more draws, but Liverpool have won all but one of their trips to Burnley in the Premier League era, and that was a defeat. They lost 2-0 in 2016. Ball into the box here, headed away. Over the head of Sobersley, but retrieved by Konate, and Bradley looking to deliver. It's high, it's deep, it's flecked back across. It's Chiesa, bobbled it away and cleared away by Leslie Ogachukwu. As Hannibal put it out of play, but it will be another throw to Liverpool. They're really everybody, all hands on deck, as they say, for Burnley. They're all back there, and they're all putting in a contribution to deny Liverpool what would be a goal they have been desperate for since the very first minute of this game, where they've been controlling the game, have Liverpool, but unable to find a way through. Gravenberch, nice little jink, he has a go. It was deflected quite a bit, and it's gone behind for a corner off Florentino Luis. Another Liverpool corner. This will be Liverpool's 12th corner of the game. They've racked up the corners. This is only their 5th of the second half. Weerts the tick again, right hand side. Right footed delivery. Flicked on by Gravenberch. Or Gakpo, sorry, it looked like it was. And that was gathered by Dubravka for Burnley. Clear it long again. Konate has done well in those aerial battles today. He did well there. And Robertson will send it back to Allison, who hastened his move, but to no worry. Szoboszlai. Out wide to Salah. Works it inside to Conor Bradley, who played it across to no one in Liverpool colours. And that's maybe set up a Burnley counter. Jadon Anthony here. Down the left channel. He's got Szoboszlai and Bradley for company. And Conor Bradley puts it out of play. And the last touch does come off the Liverpool man. That will be a Burnley throw. And the crowd feeling that their side can very much do better than just a draw here. They want to try and spur them on. Long through down the left. Cut out by Gravenberch, and Szoboszlai seen that one out. Another Burnley throw. 9 minutes to go. Another throw down that channel again. One by Gravenberch. And headed out this time by the number 16 for Burnley. So it will be a Liverpool throw. Referee kind of hurrying Conor Bradley along here. We'll get another throw in again from that throw, Liverpool. Conor Bradley rolls it to Gravenberch, who was blocked by Jadon Anthony and dispossessed by Jadon Anthony. And it's sent flying by Esteve down that left channel. It's Lyle Foster in behind Konate, who tussled well, Ibrahima Konate. And Bradley got that one off quickly. Gravenberch. Salah spraying it back to Van Dijk, who guides it across to Andy Robertson. And now a bit of space for Szoboszlai down the left-hand side. Gakpo works back infield, and a little bit of a touch on the ball there from the Burnley defender. There's that many Burnley players. I can't actually tell who they are now at this moment in time. Konate. 8 minutes to go. Clock against Liverpool. Burnley hanging on. There's not much time to hang on, but Liverpool will push and push and push until there's no time left. We know that about this team. Even when there isn't any time left, they'll still push. Florian Weerts tried it there, but nicely well cut out by the fresh legs of Burnley. And Hannibal battling. And it's going to be a Burnley throw down that right side to the displeasement of Weerts and Gakpo, who were on the scene. And it will be a Burnley throw. Alan says, how come Spurs beat Burnley begging at the beginning of the season, but the champions are having difficulty? Well, look, at the end of the day, different games, different opponents, different ways of playing. I think Liverpool have lacked cutting edge. I'm not saying that they've played excellently and should deserve a 3-4-5-0 win. Definitely not. But I think at the same time, you have to play what's in front of you, and Liverpool have. It's just that Burnley have been so incredible defensively, and you can't always criticise the team that doesn't score. You have to give credit to the team that keeps the team out at times. And Watchalong there, committing a foul. He's going to be off here. It's a red card. While I was talking, Leslie Watchalong committed a foul. He's already on a yellow, and the referee, Michael Oliver, says, here's a second one for you, and shows red. Burnley down to 10. And this could be a turning point. It's Vates here. Gets a touch away and then takes another touch. And Watchalong sliding in a little late. It is a foul. It is a yellow card. And it's a red for Leslie Watchalong. And Watchalong is off. And could that be a change in this fixture? With 5.5 minutes of normal time to go, plus the additional, Burnley now lose a player. They're down to 10. And we'll see what Liverpool react to that. Burnley were also going to make subs as well. So both teams were making substitutions before that red card was given. So now do we see what changes will be made? It looks like they are going to continue with double change here, Burnley, I think, maybe. Joe Worrell is coming on. Lyle Foster, I think, is going off. So that's going to be attacker for defender. There was another player ready there for Burnley, but I don't know if they're going to make that change just yet, or they're going to wait. They can, of course, make 2 more subs, but have only 1 more window to do it if they don't make a sub here. They've made 1 sub, so that's 3 made in 2 windows, so they've 2 to make in 1 window remaining. And Liverpool, are they going to make subs yet? Not just yet. So Salah, Vates and Szoboszlai are over this free kick for Liverpool. It was a free kick that won the game last week, or before the international break, sorry, in match day 3. Szoboszlai against David Raya, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. It's from 25 yards, 24 yards. Not about that sort of space. It's Salah and Szoboszlai over it. They're going to go direct, Liverpool. Dominic Szoboszlai again, and this one goes just over the crossbar. Goal kick. Yeah, I gotta say, it didn't really suit from that angle. I would have probably put a bet on Salah maybe taking it rather than Szoboszlai. But anyway, double substitution here for Liverpool then. It's going to see Florian Vates coming off, and Rio Gamoa is going to be coming on for him. Rio Gamoa came on against Newcastle, scored the late winner. And Jeremy Frimpong is also going to be coming on for Liverpool. And Ibrahima Konate is going to be going off. So they're going to make a change of system, and they're going to throw more attacking bodies onto the field now, Liverpool. Frimpong can play it right back, but also can go right wing. So who knows what Liverpool are doing here, but they're going to throw more attacking bodies on and try and get a result. It's probably that simple. I don't think Arne Slot's worried about the tactics board. He's worried about getting as many attacking players on to counteract the defensive players that Burnley have, and to try and get some sort of advantage to try and win this game with little time remaining. 2.5 minutes of normal time plus any additional time at the end of this one for the champions to try and get over the line. Szoboszlai to Robertson. Another early cross from Robertson. Has looked threatening today and cleared away by Hartman. Woken up by Gravenberch. Salah with the ball in over the back of the Burnley defenders. Goal kick. Burnley going to make another change. Armando Broja is going to be coming on here, and he's going to be replacing Jadon Anthony. So this is going to be their final change of the game for Burnley. Armando Broja on, Jadon Anthony off. Jadon Anthony's put in a real shift down that left hand side. Kind of hurried off the field by the referee. Andy says Burnley are parking the bus, but this takes an unbelievable amount of concentration to do it when you're playing Liverpool. 100% Completely agree. Alan says, mind you, Burnley gave us Spurs a hard game. I think Liverpool should press harder. Indeed, Burnley are a hard team to beat at their ground and are not a bad unit. They're just setting up to give Liverpool the most difficult day they can. 100%. I think they've done really well today, Burnley. I think they've been really, really good. I can't say a bad word about them defensively today. They've been absolutely excellent. But from Liverpool's point of view, that lack of cutting edge has maybe just hampered them a little bit. Whether what that comes down to, I'm not sure, but don't really know what we could really say more than what we've already said, if I'm honest, about this game. It's been fabulous defending from Burnley. Sometimes, I wouldn't say abject, but a little bit lacking from Liverpool at times, and they've created so many shots, 24, but the shots on target in comparison to that are what kind of carries this game to a level playing field, and that they've only had 2 shots on target, Liverpool. A Szoboszlai effort from long range, and Andy Robertson's little dribble through when he first came on. Frimpong, Gravenberg. Nice Szoboszlai, out wide it goes to Rio Gamoa off the left hand side. Rio Gamoa trying to work it in through, and again myriad of bodies in the way. They've become a bit more narrow now, Burnley, which allows Frimpong edge of the box wide. 5 added minutes. Here's Jeremy Frimpong, cuts it back for Salah. Salah trying to work it in again, cleared away. Van Dijk trying to hasten the Liverpool movement. Rio Gamoa, Szoboszlai, Gamoa, Bradley to Salah. Salah drifting inside. Chiesa around the corner. Bradley just evaded him. He's kept it alive. Frimpong with the ball in. Flicked up and away. And away by Broja. But Bradley recycles. That nice reverse ball from Salah into Bradley's path was promising. If it was just a little less heavy, it could have been an opening. Szoboszlai, the 10 men of Burnley, hanging on here against the champions. Rio Gamoa, Chiesa, Robertson with a flick, and the header is no real pace from Gakpo. Headed down and caught by Dubravka. 4 minutes of the 5 added to go. Time running out. The champions at the minute looking to be struggling to get one clear-cut chance to win it, but Burnley might get one here. Szoboszlai trying to tussle with Josh Laurent. Rio Gamoa is there as well, and Szoboszlai wins the tussle. And Szoboszlai wins the throw-in for Liverpool, which Josh Laurent doesn't particularly agree with. Goodness me. Bradley. Gravenberg. To Robertson, now down the left-hand side comes Rio Gamoa again. Got options, can he find one? Rio Gamoa lays it off to Jeremy Frimpong. Good save by Dubravka. And there was the space in the wide areas. Gamoa and Frimpong. And Frimpong with a great chance. Rio Gamoa did really well, really composed. Spotted Frimpong unmarked at the back side, or the back post, round the back, and had a shot which deflected behind for a corner, which Robertson will take. Is there a late winner in this Liverpool team again? Robertson to deliver it. Low and really poor, actually. That's a terrible corner. Terrible. As Alisson comes across the halfway line now. That's the desperation for Liverpool at this stage. Szoboszlai. Out wide to Frimpong. Bodies in the box again for Liverpool. Lots for Burnley, as you can expect. Frimpong, handball. Penalty to Liverpool. Hannibal. It is a penalty. Referee Michael Oliver pointed without any thinking. And that says it all from Hannibal. He knows what he's just done. It's a penalty to Liverpool. In the dying embers here at Turf Moor, Hannibal knows his mistake. See it here, Jeremy Frimpong breaks into space, and Hannibal just inside the box. and he throws a hand at it. He turns, but his arm is out. His elbow catches it. He knows right away. The referee knows too. And he points to the spot. Handball penalty, Liverpool. My goodness me. If he does that outside the box, it's a nothing moment. But he does it just inside the confines of the 18-yard box. And it's a Liverpool penalty. Of course, it's not game done and dusted. They have to put it in the net, Liverpool. But it is a golden opportunity for Mohamed Salah to win this game for the Reds. 44 out of 52 scored when he's taken penalties. Can he find a way past Martin Dubravka to win it for the champions at Turf Moor? 95th minutes. Mohamed Salah against Martin Dubravka. Mohamed Salah fires Liverpool with a winner. The champions are leaving it late again. The sign of champions. They couldn't break through all afternoon. And a 95th minute winner from Mohamed Salah. Hannibal's handball. Salah's penalty. Liverpool 3 points. Mohamed Salah rocketed that one into the top corner. No one was keeping that one out. And what a display from Burnley, ending in such a horrible way for them. It's painful, it's heartbreaking, but that's what champions do. When the odds are stacked against them, when there's nothing brewing for them, a slice of luck needed. They got that, Liverpool, and they grasped it and never let go. Mohamed Salah rifling like he almost always does from the spot to give Liverpool what will be a winning goal. Burnley 0, Liverpool 1. And Arne Slot celebrating with glee. And offside there against Burnley as they try and rescue something late. They've got nothing to lose now. But it's going to be a free kick. Late goals, late drama. It's what Liverpool are made of. It's what Liverpool are built on. It's what Liverpool is. And these champions are acting like them. They probably weren't great on the day. They probably haven't played their best football today. Burnley were unbelievable defensively. But one moment, one lapse of concentration, and Liverpool might just have grasped 3 points. And they're now trying to get it over the line. Burnley trying to fire the ball forward to give them something. But there's no time left. The champions have done it again. And that is what they do best. They leave it late. They win it late. And they make it 4 wins out of 4 at the start of the season for only the 3rd time in their Premier League history. One of those occasions they won the league. The other they came seconds. But right now there's no doubt where Liverpool will be come the end of this weekend. That is where they've been for the vast majority of the last year under Arne Slot. And that is top of the Premier League tree. Champions find a way. And in 3 of their 4 games this season, they've left it late to win it. That is what they do. You say it's an unsustainable way of winning games of football. But when you're the champions, who cares what way you win football matches? The fact that you win them is what the ultimate cause comes through. Mohamed Salah and Martin Dubravka having a little debrief about the penalty there. That was the key moment. Salah firing into the roof of the net. And that was the winner for Liverpool on the day. They were, at times, close with no cigar. Well, Mo Salah leaves with a whole pack of cigars in his back pocket. And Liverpool head back to Anfield and to Merseyside with all 3 points for the 4th time this season in 4 matches. The champions are championing here at Turf Moor and across the land. The champions are top of the table and with a 100% record, 12 out of 12. Final score here at Turf Moor, Burnley 0, Liverpool 1. My goodness me. You say they leave it late, and they did indeed, Liverpool, once again. I mean, what is going on? Burnley, it's harsh. It's horrible for them. And I have to say, no matter what, Burnley, if they play like that all season, of course they can't sit back and defend every single team like they did today, but if they show that heart and desire and effort and concentration for 90 plus minutes like they did tonight, they will certainly show a lot more than a defeat in their results this season. They were very, very good defensively, but the champions find a way, and that's all they do. 12 out of 12, 4 wins out of 4, top of the table for Liverpool. Right, that is 9 games down out of 10. We've one more to come, and it's our game of the week. If this one wasn't a great one, we should have a great one coming up very shortly from the Etihad Stadium. 30 minutes time kick-off from the Etihad. It's the 197th Manchester derby, Man City against Man United. 4:30 kick-off. Hope you can join us there. But that is it from us on this one. It was a dramatic ending. Mo Salah, like he always does, finds a way from the penalty spot. Liverpool fought and fought and fought, and it looked like the Clarets were going to be getting a point out of them. But the champions held it to the end, and they found a way once again. Bye-bye.